Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Travel News Weekly by Turnpikes.com for November 10th, 2025, abbreviated this week for the Veterans Day holiday. We start with the weather, which is impacting tens of millions of Americans and drivers from the Midwest to the Northeast and down to the South as the week gets started with the first wintry blast of the season. Forecasters with the National Weather Service had already put areas of the Midwest, including Chicagoland, under winter storm warnings over the weekend, extending many of those warnings into Tuesday as snows and high winds create hazardous driving conditions from the Dakotas east to the New England states. Hazardous driving conditions will also impact drivers in the Virginias and Carolinas as well, where snows are expected, particularly in the higher elevations. In many areas, the snow will be accompanied by high winds that will create low visibility, in addition to the icy roadways. For the south, freezing temperatures will mean icy conditions on the roadways, although snows are expected primarily across the Blue Ridge and into the Carolinas. Even North Florida will be impacted by ice, but not snow. Most of the challenging conditions will be out of the way by midweek, although cold conditions will linger in places across the Northeast and Midwest through next weekend, meaning drivers will continue to face challenging icy conditions through the week and into the weekend. The builders of the new Gordie Howe Bridge continue putting finishing touches on the new international crossing between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, showing off the new traffic pattern that will impact drivers making their way to and from the ports of entry. That pattern was shown late last week during the regular monthly webinar series of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, which is hosting those monthly for commercial drivers. This month's session included new slides and aerials showing off the nearly completed ports of entry. Bridge operators also showed the layout of the tolling lanes, all of which will be on the Canadian side of the bridge. Gordie Howe International Crossing is slated to open early in 2026, although an exact date has still not yet been picked or announced. In case you missed it, 2 people are clinging to life. Another has died following a dramatic crash on the New York State Thruway before the weekend. New York State authorities say a wrong-way driver is to blame for that fatal crash that shut down the Thruway for several hours Friday morning during the morning commute. The crash happened in Utica County in Westmoreland, which is east of Syracuse. Authorities say the driver of a Jeep entered the Thruway early Friday morning just after 2 a.m. going the wrong way. He was followed by state police who were trying to stop him, but he still struck a pickup head-on after a 12-mile police pursuit. The driver of the Jeep was pronounced dead on the scene. Passengers of the pickup remain hospitalized, one of whom is in a medically induced coma. That brings us to seatbelts. National Seatbelt Day is this Friday. The 14th of November is the date of the annual awareness event, which began in 2019. Although the pandemic quickly overshadowed it in the following years, the event is meant to raise awareness about seatbelts and how they definitely save lives. The good news, seatbelt adoption and use in the U.S. hit a national rate of 91.2% last year, according to the NHTSA. Again, National Seatbelt Day is November 14th, which falls on Friday this year. Please buckle up. That will wrap up things for our abbreviated holiday newscast this week. We wish to thank all of our veterans and service personnel, including vital support personnel, as we celebrate Veterans Day this week. Until next week, please remember to drive safely and avoid distracted driving. I'm Danny Pryor reporting for Turnpikes.com, the Turnpike Authority.